Hello everyone and welcome back to the N-Gauge layout build. In the last episode I built the frame and baseboard, and in this episode I am going to mark out where the track will go, get some cork underlay down and get the track laid down. So it's time to mark out where I want the track to go. So to do this I will use the track plan I made earlier on the computer. Now the track plan is not absolute and I will adapt it as and when I feel I may benefit from adjusting the plan. Now the track I will be using for the layout is the Pico Flexi track with set track points and a set track level crossing. The Flexi track came from Durham Trains of Stanley a number of years ago, pre-owned for another project. But with so much in the box I have more than enough for this project. The points are a mixture of new and pre-owned, with the new points coming from Durham Trains of Stanley and the pre-owned having been picked up at Rainton Arena Model Collectors Fair. The level crossing, which in my case is a two-part kit from Pico, I managed to acquire this from a seller on eBay. To mark out the area at each end where I want my curves, I have made a jig or a giant compass from a spare piece of plastic channel. Now I know the radius of this curve from both the computer track plan and the track setter I have also purchased to aid fitting the track. As you can see, I have already marked out these radius curves, but made a small change to the plan on the left side of the layout, bringing the curve further into the layout than first planned. As I said earlier, the plan can change as I build. Now the curves are done, the easier part of marking out can start. So I know where all the center lines for the track should be from using the measurements from the computer track plan. So using a couple of my long and short metal rules, I will now get to work marking out where all the track sections should be, including the fiddle yard. Now you get to see me use my compass/jig to mark out where a set of points and sidings will go on the layout. Now the marking is all done, and even though it is reasonably accurate, It could ever so slightly be out as a result of some of the modifications I have made to the plans, but it all looks good at the moment. Next up, I want to glue down the cork underlay, and I suppose the easiest way will be to start doing all of the straightest areas first, bit like the fiddle yard. So I am just using an old brush and some PVA glue for this, and to keep the straight lengths as straight as possible, I am using my longest metal rule to help. The beauty of using the PVA is even when I have brushed it on, I can still see where I need to apply the cork. Also, after each application, I am laying a length of spare timber with a little bit of weight on it just to help it settle flat. Now, on a slightly different topic, I hope you, the viewers, are enjoying my content, and ask if you are, please like this episode, share it with someone that you believe would appreciate it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I do check my analytics and I do see that only 15% of my viewers are subscribed, and if you do subscribe, you are more likely to be notified of future episodes. Now, while I do the curves, I have opted to cut the cork into short lengths and then cut those short lengths down the centre into thin strips to help me apply them around the curve. With all those areas done, all that is left is the two curves at the other end of the layout. Now, if anything could possibly be slightly out, it will be over here, but I don't think, or at least I hope, it won't be out by much. So the time has come for me to start laying the track, and this will be the first time I have laid N-gauge flexi track. After much deliberation as to how I am going to do this efficiently, I have chosen to use a mix of track pins and, would you believe it, super glue. An interesting combination, but there will be a significant amount of tension on the track, and I want to speed the process up. So I will pin the track down with track pins and pile it in a hole with a pin vise for them, and at the same time as I use the track setter, I will apply some super glue between the cork and the sleepers to help fix the track in place while I pin it down. This will also prove to be helpful, as I will also have a join on this curve with a set of points, and I really don't want too much tension on the track at this location. Now I'm going to use this technique around most of the layout where I think an increased amount of tension will be present on the track. However, where there is little or no tension, I will just use track pins. Now, where the track is dual running, I am using a Pico track guide, and the level crossing will help with keeping the track evenly spaced. Some of you may notice that I have not fitted all the track to the fiddle yard. This is in part due to a shortage of the points I require, so when I pick these up, I will finish off the fiddle yard. Now that the majority of the track has been laid, I want to check continuity on the rails for good running. Bear in mind I am using some pre-owned points, and it is important any issues that may arise are discovered now and not further into the project. As you can see, there seems to be a little issue with this point, but it would seem that just a little attention with a track rubber is all that is needed. Now off camera, very late one evening, I have fitted dropper wires around the track. The layout is not intended to be used DCC, however, having them in place makes for an easier conversion later if I wish. But the main reason I have fitted them is for continuity for DC operation, isolation of sections, and any other modules and accessories that I might fit. Now I've chosen to fit these on the outer side of the rails, and although they are very visible at present, the locations I've chosen and after ballasting, weathering and so on are unlikely to be visible. Moving on now, I want to pre-weather the rails before ballasting, mainly to tone them down and give them a little bit of a rusty look. Now to do this, I am going to hand paint along the edges with some Humbrol acrylic number 26. Now I have a lot of this paint, and for me it gives me the right look when it's dry. So you can see I have painted the rails everywhere that will be visible at a scenic level. The paint is still wet, so it doesn't quite represent what it will look like dry, but we'll have a look at that when it does. When this has dried overnight, I will run the track rubber over the track and run some locos and rolling stock over just to check for continuity again and check that the rolling stock is still running smooth. So that's it for this episode. In the next episode, I will be ballasting and assembling a number of kits for the scenic aspect of the layout. Thanks for watching, hope this has helped. See you again next time. Bye now.